with my friend Jaster. This is this is Epik versus whatever the hell their team name is, vVv. How's it going, J4Y?
It's going good, Matt. It's going good. This is going to be round 2, game 1 of the MLG Providence Qualifier tournament. As you can see here, it's from the point of view of Dan Din, thanks to this beautiful replay system. That's a third-party thing. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really interested to watch this game, get to see some of this tournament. This is to get me really excited, actually, for the Winter Dream Hack coming up soon. I'm sure we're going to see some amazing play from different games there. Here we see Epik just grouping up here right in the grass, trying to, just in case they get the opportunity to jump somebody. If we want to go over the teams, actually, here comes Sona in. They look like they want to try and press something. All 5. Here we have a stun on Udyr. It looks like Kennan's able to flash away at the last second. Morgana looks to follow. Udyr dropping very low. He flashes the other side. Will he go down? Yes, he does. Winds up dying here. Kennan will just barely make it away, and that sitting in the brush is now going to bite them in the tail as several of them look to port back.
That was the lamest Mordekaiser impression I've ever seen. Do you understand that's what that's supposed to be?
It is what it is. But anyway, Udyr drops there, and before we even get a chance to go over the picks.
Yeah, I know. I mean, really quick action. I mean, the level 1 team composition definitely felt like the advantage was for, I don't know, V cubed, whatever. We'll figure out this as we go. But I mean, they had that Morgana with the bind and everything. But either way, it's not a big deal in the end. No gold loss or anything. So game's gonna start normal. Let's go line up as quickly as possible here. We got Epik's got Kog'Maw, Kennen, Udyr, Soraka, and Talon, and then over on vVv we got Morgana, Cho'Gath, Vayne, Sona, and Lee Sin. So how about initial thoughts?
Well, unfortunately, we can't see the bands to see what those look like. But, both teams are really pretty strong composition here. For Epik, we know that Talon can do pretty good carrying. He's here in the middle lane trying to pick up some farm. Udyr is, of course, always a strong hero. Kennen is also going to be able to farm well and be a strong presence in the late game. And Soraka, of course, is always an amazing support. She's going to be looking to support Dan Din on this Kog'Maw, who also is really going to be powerful in the late game. They're looking to be really strong as this game progresses.
I really do like Kog'Maw. I mean, he has been kind of more flavor of the month recently, but when you go up against a Cho'Gath and you're doing 5% of maximum health with that W, I mean, it's just going to be massive. Cho'Gath's going to melt so fast. The bigger he gets, the harder, he's going to get taken down. But it's going to be Vayne and Sona against them, and it's just going to be a massive sustained farm. I mean, like both Sona and Soraka are so good at keeping up their, lane mates. So I don't see too much going on here, except for, maybe if a gank comes along. Udyr actually got the double buff. He's probably going to port out now and then look to gank after he does that. Lee Sin jungler, on the other hand, maybe not as fast as like an Udyr per se, but he's such a strong ganker. Like he goes in with that Q, he lands on it, gets over, slows him down. Really good synergy, especially with a Cho'Gath who can then follow up with a silence and knockup.
Absolutely, yeah. They have a lot of AoE potential. Morgana's ultimate is another AoE, as well with her puddle on the ground. Sona is always hitting multiple champions, and Vayne's just going to be there picking people apart as she goes. The other thing, too, about Kog'Maw is, like you were saying, Lee Sin, he's also a very tanky hero. Here we have Vayne looking to initiate here on Kog'Maw in the bottom lane. Sona lands the slow with her power cord, but it's not going to turn into anything. As you were saying, it's just going to be a huge sustained fight. The one thing I do like about this bottom lane is Kog'Maw is going to have plenty of mana to be able to lay out his vomit upon the ground, trying to pick up additional farm. So he shouldn't have any problems here, picking up kills and at the same time keeping creeps off of his tower as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to point out here, this is now I think it's 5th game I've casted with Epik, and Nat Nin, I'm pretty sure, has been Soraka every single game. He is in love with that champion. I mean, I can't blame him. He is such a great lane presence. Like you were saying, give him all that mana he can work with, keeping him full health, and then when he gives that buff also, it's that armor buff. I don't remember exactly how much it is, but it lasts for a good 5 seconds, so even after the heal, he's still a strong champion. Here comes Udyr, actually, with that double buff, looking to set up here. They're going to need a clairvoyance to check out that brush. There it is. Udyr's running it now against his Vayne. Lands the initial hit, but they're not going to be able to follow up. They're just way too far behind to follow up on that.
Yeah, as we saw again, Sona uses that the speed up to get away, and also is able to use the power core to land a stun on, or a slow on Udyr, pardon, to make sure he isn't able to pursue any further. Sona's a favorite hero of mine. Although I do have to say, in this bottom lane, I definitely do like the Soraka Kog'Maw better. We're talking about Soraka. She's just all around a really good hero throughout the game. When she finally does get around to leveling up the Star Call, that's amazing for pushing. Her heal is obviously huge. Her passive is magic resistance, which is also very helpful. She has a global presence with her ultimate, and then, of course, mana and a silence. It's
right.
Fantastic abilities.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, but, Sona's a pretty good contender as well with the nice harass Q damage, follow up with a heal on both herself and someone near her. The speed increase, good for running out or chasing fights. And, of course, that AoE ultimate to stun, if you can land it properly, can be really effective. So, both very, very strong support selections there. Actually, it looked like Lee Sin was looking to maybe set something on Talon, but possibly gets caught and not going to be able to follow up on that. Talon, a very, I think, strong counter to Morgana. Can get right on her, do a lot of good burst damage. As you actually see here, Ignite uses the ultimate. She's got to flash out. I don't think it's going to be enough to kill her, unfortunately. Tries to bind, but that's just such strong burst damage, easily can take out Morgana.
Well, looks to put some...
God.
Oh, that's never going to get old, being able to say
Especially the way you say it.
Yes. He tries to go in on Lee Sin, tries to put up a little bit of harassment on him, trying to counter jungle here, looking to take some of his creeps out. Udyr was really able to burn through these creeps fast. He actually gets caught here by Lee Sin. Is he gonna... He just continues to try and take these creeps here. They just try and pick off what they can. Talon looks to come up just in case in order to put up some support there, as both of them look to try and maybe push this lane. No, Udyr is going to go up top and probably go back to jungling, I'd imagine, as looks like Kennen is pushed up pretty far.
Yeah, let's go over creep scores really quick. So we got Kog'Maw 52 versus 49 Vayne, so that's pretty much dead even. 46 Kennen to a 56 Cho'Gath. So Cho'Gath actually winning. No surprise there. He's a very great laner. Able, as you can see, to just dominate these creeps and not even care. Actually use the ultimate and ignite. Cho'Gath actually stayed in a little too long there. It gets annihilated by Kennen. That ultimate does a ton of damage and stuns when you get enough of those stacks on him.
Absolutely. We saw there that Kennen got the stun up just before he used that ultimate, then being able to use that ulti just to continue to put up the charges again, potentially getting another opportunity to lay down a stun. And now that the score goes 1-1, what do you think about the item pickup so far? I mean, it all looks pretty standard to me at the moment. Cho'Gath picking up the Catalyst, which he's definitely going to need to stay up in that top lane, be able to keep his mana up. Here again, we have in the middle lane, we have Udyr and Lee Sin duking it out over these ghost creeps, apparently a favorite of theirs. They really want those ghosts. Morgana coming in to help keep Udyr away.
Let's call them Wraiths, shall we?
Let's call them Wraiths.
Actually, some initiation here on Vayne. A decent amount of damage, but that Sony Heal is just going to put him right back up, so it's not going to lead anything. Kog'Maw, not the strongest burst carry, but definitely a lot of high, sustained damage. So, you'll see him really effective in team fights, but when he's, trying to set up a gank or something, he's not going to really be able to put out enough damage unless there's enough CC on his target to actually put out that damage. Mm-hmm. But going back to items, the Catalyst on both Morgana and Cho'Gath, very common, of course. Most likely a Rod of Ages that'll eventually get turned into, maybe on both of them. Cho'Gath likes to have more health, maybe not against Kog'Maw, but generally. Meanwhile, Kennen has boots, very impressive build.
Exactly.
Hasn't gone back to buy yet, just showing how well he's doing in his lane that he doesn't even have to port back yet. And I say that, of course, now he's going to port back. Meanwhile, Talon does have a couple Doran's Blades, and it looks like he's going to eventually go for that Brutalizer. Very common pickup on him, of course. That cooldown reduction in armor pen and fly attack damage. All great stats for Talon.
Yeah, we can see in the bottom lane, actually, I was going to say the Epic's doing a good job with their ward control. They had 2 wards up just then, but we just saw Sona actually go towards Dragon, places a counter ward, and is able to take down that ward. It's really important, of course, in this game and all other MOBAs, being able to keep up that visibility, to know what's going on. Using that clairvoyance to keep an eye on the map, which not in the version they're playing, but on the live version for the rest of us is slightly nerfed. So I have to see how that actually affects competitive play in the future, but for right now, it's still a very powerful spell to keep an eye on the opposing junglers and try and ward off ganks.
Yeah, absolutely. Kennen actually went straight for Will the Ancient. So, a Hex Tech Revolver definitely very common on him, but he just wants, that straight up spell vamp right away. Very powerful item to him, of course, and he gives that aura for your team. So when you start casting spells, you can get that health back. And it looks like they were possibly trying to. Oh, actually, never mind. Dragon did get taken out, so that was a very sneaky play there by the. I'm gonna call him the VQ. It's a lot more fun for me. Anyways, the VQ. Okay, fuck it. The V team. The V team. That's the best one. They did a good job there. Took the dragon. Lee seemed very effective at that. As well as Vayne, of course, doing that damage, true damage based on the target's maximum health. Kind of like Cogmaul in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw Vayne and Sona just really run out of the lane, and there was really no pursuit by Epik to really see what's going on here in the top lane. We have Udyr found Morgana. Oh, Udyr will go down to Morgana. They look to pursue Cho'Gath now as Talon and Ken look to go in, dropping that ulti again, and the Ignite as well. Will he be able to get away? No, he flashes away. Talon keeps up, and so several kills picked up there.
Oh, yeah, great play there. A lot of flashes being burned all over the place. Morgana did eventually, as you said, get that kill on Udyr, but, paid for with her life, as well as Cho'Gath. He just can't seem to get anything going for him. Every time he tries to help out or do something, there's Kennen with his ultimate to mess everything up. And, as we saw there, just a ton of damage.
Definitely, as we've already said, this is an uphill battle for Cho'Gath as it is. The longer this game goes on, the faster Cogmaul is going to be able to tear him apart. So, this was really kind of his opportunity to really be able to contribute, but he's just being held down by this Kennen up top who's now pushing the tower. Will hopefully be able to pick that up for his team soon.
Yeah, absolutely. As items go, Wriggle's finished on Cogmaul, actually, and on Vayne. So like I was talking about in other games, that is, the current meta. These ADs do get that Wriggles, and actually it looks like a brawl here, but with that armor, from the Soraka heal, Cogmaul definitely going to be on top of that. The Sona healers can only do so much. So, an interesting back and forth there. Not going to really lead to anything because, like we were saying, such a high sustain bottom lane here. The creep scores end up being now 100 for both Cogmaul and Talon to an 88 Vayne and a 94 Morgana. So a little bit advantage creep score wise going to Epik, but they did lose that dragon, so they're probably behind overall.
Yeah, that's true. They're going to really have to try and keep control on Dragon. As we can see, there are wards down in that bottom jungle. Oh, Talon comes in, trying to kill Vayne in the bottom lane. She is able to flash away. The Sona aura able to help increase her defenses, and the heal's able to keep her up. Talon might look to try and come around here. No, he decides not to. Backs off. They don't want to try and dive that tower. It does a ton of damage. There's really no reason to try and risk it at this point in the game when it's still so close, 3-2.
Yeah, and he already used his ultimate to try to kill Vayne, so he really didn't have much left to use. And Sona, I believe, still has her ultimate up. So yeah, like you were saying, it really wouldn't have led to much. Meanwhile, they do end up getting that top tower. Ken doing a good job pushing that out. Where's Cho'Gath? Probably eating a creep or something. Who knows?
Yeah, he didn't. It didn't even. I didn't notice him come back to that top lane. Even it's kind of just a lost cause. He's probably just going to wait for those creeps to push up. So here he comes now, just taking advantage of that push lane. That's kind of a give and take with taking a tower. Is once you take that tower, the opponent now has more room to work with. The creeps, they can farm them closer to home. Talon now looking to defend his middle tower from the pushing creeps.
Yeah, it actually looks like Cho'Gath is going to go for that Banshee's Veil instead of Rod of Ages, which, against the Cogmaul, magic damage. Actually, initiation here at bottom. Cogmaul does go down to a 4-man gank. They really wanted to see his farm drop off. So, good job setting that up. And they're probably going to be able to push this tower out now with that.
Yeah, definitely Kennen and Talon, very strong heroes, but I think Cogmaul is the one that is really going to wind up carrying this game later. So being able to get that gank is huge. Soraka now looks to come down, do what she can, which is not much at all. She's probably going to try and just throw out silences to try and do damage to hold us off till maybe some of her team can come in. They do not want to. Udyr just decides to continue on with his farm, and the tower goes down, evening up that tower score. Look at the top lane. Kennen and Cho'Gath up there by that tower. Kennen feels completely safe. He has the little lightning ball, there it is right there, to be able to get away in a sticky situation. So he isn't even afraid to sit up there by that tower.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they don't have a ton of vision for him. They only really have this one ward here, but like you were saying, they don't really need it. He knew there were at least 3 or 4 bottom, and he obviously feels confident enough to take out Cho'Gath one-on-one. So, yeah, no problem for him. Meanwhile, Talon and Morgana just duking it out in the middle. Their towers, both obviously still up. So, there hasn't been actually a lot of ganking going on in the middle lane. It's been kind of just one-on-one for the most part, which kind of surprised me. Udyr, really strong ganker, as well as Lee Sin. I kind of was expecting to see more out of them this game.
Yeah, I think we've seen more skirmishes between Lee Sin and Udyr than we have in the middle lane. Obviously, Lee Sin went bottom to help get that kill on Cho'Gath, evening up the score. Or, pardon me, Kog'Maw, evening up the score 3-3. I have a question, though, for you. As we start to see these towers go down, which team do you think is going to be able to take the lead in team fights?
Well, obviously every team fight, it really depends on that initiation. And Kennen, and this is what I've seen also, because they have picked up this Kennen in other games they've played in this tournament so far, with that flash and his ultimate, he can really start a fight so strong. If he catches 2 or 3 of them with that ultimate and his lightning rush, he stuns 3 of them in high damage already. Follow that up possibly with a Talon ultimate. A lot of big damage, burst damage, and then Udyr and Kog'Maw in the back just laying out the damage. Looks like they're going a little back and forth here, trying to chunk each other, but it's going to leave nothing. Actually, Dragon came up, that's why, of course. Kog'Maw doesn't want to get caught by that, does dodge it just in time, and this is definitely going to be a kill for Epik. But here comes the initiation. Kennen drops it all like I was talking about. Morgana drops hers too. 2 already going down, and then Soraka pops her all, keeps her team alive. Kennen's going to fall, unfortunately, but Vayne down, Cho'Gath's going to fall as well, and that is a 4-for-1 trade already.
That is unbelievable. Epik also picking up that dragon kill. Just complete dominance there. They pick up what is essentially 5 kills. When you think about the gold from Dragon, that's just an absolutely amazing lead, and now you can see 3 people from Epik look to get into this middle lane and push this tower. It's already down, a quarter of its health. It's going to drop right here. There's nobody to defend it, really. And Udyr wants to push this bottom tower, and there's really not going to be much that Sona can do to stop him. Luckily, hopefully some of her teammates will come up to help, but, just being able to use her Q to do some damage to both Udyr and the creeps, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Absolutely. 2 towers, a dragon, and 4 kills. I mean, if that's not a change of pace in this game, I don't know what could be.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Epik, I think I might have to go, and let out a
oh my.
Yes.
No one's gonna ever let that
the cackle, the cackle of doom, as they're able to pick up 2 towers, dragon, and 4 kills. It's just huge. We're really gonna have to see some tricks come out from to try and come back. Yes, V cubed, the three V's, V3. To see any kind of
Sounds
comeback.
like a tomato juice drink, like V3.
It's
like V8, but it didn't quite get there.
Yes, yeah, it's a third of a bottle of V8,
oh, okay.
approximately.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. And actually, it's interesting, and I kind of wanted to ask you your opinion on this. It appears that both Udyr and Kog'Maw both decided to go really quick wits ends against this lineup. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, we do see a lot of magic damage on their side. Morgana, Cho'Gath, Sona actually does do a pretty good amount of damage, and some of Lee Sin's abilities, I believe, are magic damage.
I believe maybe just Tempest, but yeah.
Okay, well, and so this is really early in the stage of the game. Here we have Morgana getting initiated on here. 3-4 people look to try and kill her. She will get away, though. She has that black shield to help ward off some of that magic damage. Obviously, Kog'Maw kind of wants to pick that up anyway. I mean, it gives him a lot of attack speed. And, of course, magic resist never hurts. And as we were just saying, there's a lot of potential magic damage coming out from the opposing team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but, the only thing I guess I was kind of questioning there was Udyr, normally, and I actually see on Lee Sin, junglers do go for, like, that Wriggles to get that really high damage for, dragons or objectives or whatnot. But, I mean, I understand, there is that Wriggles on Kog'Maw, which is helpful, but, with Vayne having one as well.
Yeah, that is interesting to see. I mean, Udyr's apparently just feels fine with the heart of gold to be able to keep his gold up there. Kind of an interesting decision. The wards are really nice too on that Wriggles. Something I think is kind of overlooked. You consider that a lot of the supports in this game are actually pretty strong if they can get items, but because they normally have to wind up spending a lot of their money on the wards and stuff, they can't really get any kind of farm. So even having to buy one less, it's very helpful.
Absolutely. You can see the Soraka choosing to go the heart of gold with the Philistone, whereas Sona, sorry, go in the K's lucky pick. So getting a little more AP, trying to make those heals just a little bit stronger. Although I'm pretty sure it wasn't recently, but didn't they nerf the ratios for Sona's heal?
Yeah, a while ago they changed it. They made it so that her Q benefited more from the AP, the nuke that hits 2 individuals. That benefits more from AP, and her heal benefits slightly less from it. So it's still nice to get. It does affect both, but yeah, that pick is really going to help more for harassment than it is for the heals.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Cogwell decides to build next. Generally a very common thing is just go not even really damage, but just tons of attack speed and, look to burn down objectives with him. I mean, he's such a great objective killer with, his damage based on health. He just annihilates, like Baron, especially with that Wriggles. So, maybe look for them to try to do, Baron in the possible near future here.
Yeah, not to say I told you so, but, that second dragon kill, it really did set the tone for what we're seeing now in this game. If that had gone even slightly differently, we wouldn't see, 2 or 3 people looking to push, perhaps go in on this tower. No, they will not. Cho'Gath lays out the silence, able to kind of fend them off for the time being. But yeah, as you're saying, Baron is going to be a big target. Here we have Sona almost getting taken out here. She's able to blink away, and the Black Shield's placed on her to make sure that she stays alive. And they're just going to try and keep putting harassment up on this tower. We have the heals from Soraka. They're going to be able to stay up there, but now they look to retreat after Clairvoyance goes up for them. They're going to look to take some of these Wraiths, not Ghosts.
Thank you.
Take some of these Wraiths here to hamper some of Lee Sin's farm as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a fantastic job here. Actually, I love this vision, although it's going down quickly, unfortunately. But, they had some wards in some really good places to see where this team is moving around. Soraka, so both supports actually rocking the oracles right now. I guess that's pretty common. They don't want the other players to, of course, waste their team. But now they're going to steal this blue, and I'm going to have to I guess it could go either to Talon or Kog'Maw. Both would be really strong players. I guess it looks like they're going to just give it right to Kog'Maw so he can just spam that artillery, do a lot of damage. Actually, a fight might break out here.
Yeah, they look to close in. They have the Clairvoyance up. They can see it. He's going to try and pick it up. He does. When you were debating whether you think Talon or... Oh, here we have Kennen goes in with another amazing ulti. He does get stunned, though. He does get slowed down there. He isn't able to keep up and apply those stuns. Huge stun ult. Very good play by her. Potentially saving her team from getting annihilated there by that ultimate. And, of course, the Kog'Maw with the blue rune. But... Kog'Maw's been doing really well with his artillery barrage. He's been using it to scout around a lot to make sure that brushes are clear. Here we have Kog'Maw going in with his Wriggles there, doing so much damage to the dragon. Doesn't stand a chance. Yet more gold put in their position. Here we have vVv looking to go down there and check it out, but they're going to find nothing but an empty cave. Yeah.
Oh, they took it. And that's kind of like what happened early game, like when vVv... sneakily took it right away, just caught them off guard, and sure enough, they're like, oh boy, I think we know what they just did. And sure enough, yeah, it's gone. So they're probably going to look to get a little revenge on this first-tier tower on the outside, but actually there's a pretty good defense. When you think with blue buff Kog'Maw, he's really good at holding back creep waves and, champions.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, if you look at that whole team, really, except for, well, I guess you could say Kennen can do it with his Lightning Rush. Really, everybody on their team has... semi-spammable ability to do damage to creeps, to do some AoE damage, so they really wouldn't have a lot of trouble pushing back creep waves, really, as we see. Kennen does use that Lightning Rush to damage up some creeps here at the top lane.
Yeah, let's get back to items since we haven't in a little bit. Kennen did finish his death cap, and actually Udyr looks like he's going for Randuin's Omen, so he's looking to get really tanky with that armor. And, that's kind of what I expected, was a little more armor against his team. Vayne does a lot of physical. Cho'Gath pretty much auto-attacks a lot of physical damage, as well as Lee Sin, of course. So, I think that's going to be a great pickup. It's also, on use, he'll slow down that movement attack speed of the other team. So, very useful in that big team fight kind of thing.
Yeah, I think something that's kind of interesting about that is, when Udyr kind of got put in a really strange situation where he just all of a sudden has a bajillion gold from that major fight down at Dragon. Now looks like we might have some action here in the middle lane. When we were discussing about picking up that Wit's End, you think about it, the mages are really the heroes that in the beginning of the game can really do a lot of damage, and it's only until later on when you really start seeing the AD heroes like Vayne come out doing a lot of damage. So, I think it was a really good decision on his part to pick up that magic resistance early when it's going to be most effective, and then now he's coming up back and picking up that armor, picking up the slow on attack that comes along with the Warden's armor. That's part of Ronduin's Omen. So,
oh man, that was good. You pulled that one out of somewhere.
I'm pretty proud of myself. Let me tell you. I think it's a really good decision on his part. Now Kennen looks to try and come in, and oh no, he gets stunned after getting ulted by Lee Sin.
Hey, man.
Oh no, it looks like Sona might drop here. No, she is able to heal and get out of the way. No vision here, so they're just kind of throwing shit through the trees, trying to harass one another. Looks like they might try and turn it around. Vayne gets a nice stun into the trees. They do not look to press the matter. And now, oh dear, we'll get in here on some creeps, but Lee Sin actually looking to smite that last creep there, trying to get a little bit of vengeance. A stun coming out here, and dear, are they going to choose to go in? What are they waiting for? What kind of situation do they want to find the opposing team in to really take advantage of it? Nothing yet has come to their attention, and nothing they want to do. It looks like Epik's just going to continue to lay down some harass with the Kennen Shurikens, as well as the Kog'Maw artillery. He doesn't have that blue rune anymore, unfortunately, so he isn't going to be able to do it forever. But just a lot of harass going back and forth. We're just waiting for this fight to erupt. A good stun from Cho'Gath. Potentially good opportunity there. Morgana lays down the puddle. It looks like they're probably just going to look to go away. They will. Kennen just barely misses catching that stun.
Yeah.
Yes, the binding from Morgana. And after a lot of build-up, not much going to happen there as Morgana looks to perhaps push
and I honestly think that was smart of Epik. I mean, they have the advantage. First of all, don't force a fight that you don't have to force. And with Kennen using his ultimate before and it being on cooldown, they really weren't in a position to fight them at a tower. So maybe if he had that ultimate up, it could have been a different story. But I think that was a smart play there. Don't try to force that like I was saying before. Actually, here comes on Udyr. He gets caught by binding, but he's so tanky. He doesn't really matter to him. And Kog'Maw just laying out the damn Sona, takes out her before she can do anything. And then here's the Cho'Gath getting exhausted. Kennen drops the ult on them with Talon dropping his ult too. That's going to annihilate them. And there's an ace, 5 for 0.
Yeah, we saw Kennen in there just jump past everybody, just lay down his ulti on everybody. 5-0 concede, and Epik is able to pick up that game convincingly in several team fights.
Oh, this Kennen, I tell you, I have been so impressed with him over these games I've watched so far in this tournament. I mean, it's interesting. If you watch solo queue and everything, no one picks up him or bans him. Kennen's just lost in the shuffle or whatever you want to say the phrase. But, ultimately in these fights, he is just so amazing. He brings out the stun and the damage. Anyways, great job by Epik. Wins the first game. They're going to go to the second one since it's the best of 3. Thanks for tuning in to Broadcast, guys, and I hope you guys continue to watch us.